Good morning, awesome students. Today we are going to talk about inclusion of pupils with special needs. This will start with a look at the definition of inclusion, discrimination, and special educational needs, which are three concepts that are difficult to define. Inclusion is a process by which schools, local education authorities, and others develop their cultures, policies, and practices to include pupils with a special educational need. The second concept refers to discrimination. It's the power of making distinctions, in this case because of their disabilities. Finally, we have the concept of special educational needs. Refers to children that have disabilities that make it harder for them to learn than other persons. There are many types of disabilities. These are visual disabilities. Refers to disabilities which affect vision or sight. Example, myopia, astigmatism, and blindness. Hearing disabilities is a partial or total inability to hear. Physical disabilities. This kind of disability is characterized because they can use part of their body, such as their limbs. Intellectual disabilities, also known as a mental retardation. This person has certain limitations in mental functioning and in skills of communication. Including a student with special needs in the classroom has a lot of benefits because we can learn values, ways of solidarity, etc. In this process must participate all people. But before working with these children, we have to make certain modification and accommodation to receive them in order to be as successful in school. These are: if it's needed, introduce yourself at the beginning of a conversation and notify the student when you are exiting the room. Be clear, let the student if there are obstacles in the classroom. Also, it's necessary to have a lab assistance, videos with audio description, accessible websites, and the use of text in Braille. Two people with hearing disabilities speak slowly and clearly, don't exaggerate, maintain eye contact. Also, it's necessary the use of a signal language interpreter. To physical disabilities, it's not necessary many modifications, just structural modifications, for example, an accessible location in the classroom. To intellectual disabilities, modify the teaching approach, use of aids, because it's attractive to people with this kind of disabilities, use of feedback after the class, and use of play activities to teaching. Nowadays, there are a lot of opportunities for a student with special needs, because education is a right of every child, in despite of certain barriers. Some people think that a disabled person has a poor quality of life, or they see their disability as a tragedy. So, for purposes of protecting these people, and the rights of children with special needs in schools exist many national and international institutions. For example, UNICEF. UNICEF works to give a fair chance in life to every child everywhere, especially the most disadvantaged. Teleton is an institution of rehabilitation for disabled people. The main purposes of this institution are the inclusion and independence of every disabled child. SENADIS is a state organization responsible of social inclusion, equality and accessibility of people with special needs. To become an inclusive society, it is important that all people should participate. The family members of disabled people are the most important in this process because they are the support of the student with special needs. Also, it is important to re-educate all members of the society, where inclusion is in every aspect, not just in the Teleton campaign. Now we are going to watch two videos about the inclusion and the experience of children with disabilities from Sierra Leone.
It is important as children with disabilities and as girls to be able to talk. As children with disabilities, we know how we feel. That's why it is important for us to be heard.
When I got polio, I lost my friends. My parents left me while they worked on the farm. I was alone.
Girls with disability in my community who are not at school fall pregnant to men. The men deny responsibility. The girls are left to deal with this alone.
Sometimes when I am left alone at home or my friends leave me, I get bullied because I have polio and I am unable to run.
On my first day at school, I was not happy because I lived with a disability. I was alone. I was unable to walk. The other children left me alone and went out to play.
The toilet at my school is not disabled friendly. There are times when I go there, everything is messed up and dirty. I have to get out of my wheelchair and place my hands on the floor. It makes me unhappy and discouraged.
My older brother says to me, Philip, go to school. If you become educated, other community members will realize that even though you have a disability, you can do something.
When I started school, the teachers called an assembly for all the pupils in the school and said, "This is a friend of yours. She's now one of the members of the school, so consider her one of your friends too. Don't be afraid of her. She's like you. Her condition is not a risk." So from then, they started playing with me. I started to become happy. I started having friends.
I think it is important for children with disability like the hearing impaired and vision impaired to go to school. That is why they should have training for teachers.
When I complete school, I want to be president. I will build houses for people with disabilities so they are not on the street. I will also build schools for them so they can become educated like me.
I want to be a nurse. I will treat people with disabilities and I will treat them for free.
I want to be a doctor. Once I am educated, I will return to my community and build clinics to treat people.
When I am a lawyer, I will encourage and support children with disabilities to get an education so they can look forward to their future.
Whether or not we have a disability, we are all human beings. We all have the same human rights.
This was my presentation. Thank you for your attention.